Friends, you better prepare because Congress is positioning their portfolios right now to make big money in the coming weeks and months. Congress has been disclosing trade after trade, and quite frankly, it looks as though they are preparing for something significant. As everyone knows, over the last few years, our politicians have gotten super rich, super quick in the stock market. Year after year, Congress outperforms, but in 2024, it got even more extreme. According to new reports from Unusual Whales, some of the most connected congressmen and women return multiples of the S&P 500's already impressive 25% year-over-year growth. One congressman returned as much as 149%, nearly 6 times the market average. In fact, let's look at Senator Ron Wyden, who is an outspoken critic of Trump for not divesting from his real estate assets. Wyden himself is one of the top performers in Congress when it comes to stocks. He actively trades, and his performance places him number 3 out of hundreds of Congress members. He also sits on many committees that oversee his stock holdings. The fact of the matter is that many Republicans and Democrats in Congress actively trade on a weekly basis, and many have had huge, outperforming stock trades in the specific fields they supposedly govern. In fact, some of them will double dip. They'll take lobbyist money from corporations, and once they get into office, they'll invest tons of money into those companies' shares. This gives these politicians twice the incentive to do these companies' bidding instead of serving the American people. And folks, in a world where the president himself is issuing meme coins and making tons of money, we know that both Republicans and Democrats are now coming together, unifying, and deciding, hey, this is the time to make a ton of money. Unusual Whales found that the longer an individual is in Congress, the higher their average returns are in any given year. Timing in Congress usually means more connections, and more connections mean more insider insight to get rich off of. All of this is going to get even more extreme in 2025. So, in today's video, we're going to break down the top 5 stocks Congress is buying right now as we head into February. The only thing I ask in return for all the work that goes into making a video like this is that you hit that like button, share this with a few friends, and of course, the best prescription is always a subscription. So, make sure to subscribe. We will get into all of this. Timestamps are down below. But as always, if you're the one taking the ultimate risk, you've got to be the one doing the ultimate research. Never get risky without thinking about your due diligence, and vice versa. Okay, let's start with number 5. Number 5. Congressman Thomas H. Keene Jr. Congressman Keene just disclosed buying CP, Canadian Pacific Kansas City Limited. It's already done very well for him. It started going up right after he bought it, and now that he's disclosed it, it might go up even more with the congressman pump. CP is a massive railroad company with monopoly-like control over freight transportation in North America. Why might he be interested in the stock? Well, Congressman Keene is a prominent politician from New Jersey who sits on infrastructure and transportation-related committees. So, why would he be loading up on Canadian Pacific? Is he hearing something behind the scenes in closed-door meetings? Who knows, but let's think about this for a second. The bottom line is that you have a high-level politician with direct access to infrastructure funding plans, both public and private, that need approvals. Here he is, betting on one of the dominant railroad companies in North America. CP is the only company with a coast-to-coast rail network that spans Canada, the US, and Mexico. If he believes those routes are about to be utilized more because of things he's hearing in closed-door meetings, well, guess what? The train might be leaving the station. It's also true that a Trump win could supercharge the energy and manufacturing industries, leading to way more rail transport demand. When Trump says, drill, baby, drill, think of all the resources derived from that which need to be transported, mostly by train. So, overall, CP is, at the very least, a unique trade that raises some eyebrows. Number 4. Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi bought Vistra Corporation. What does she know? Vistra is a dominant energy player operating one of the largest natural gas and nuclear power portfolios in the U.S., with a growing emphasis on grid-scale battery storage. Let's not forget, former Speaker Pelosi is no ordinary investor. Her trades are so strategically executed and profitable that they've become a meme in financial circles, with retail traders literally tracking her moves to replicate them. We talk about Pelosi here a lot, but if you're new to the channel, Just look at some of her big wins in videos we've discussed over the last couple of years. There's literally trade after trade where she brings in the big bucks. She's also very talented at avoiding losses. For example, Pelosi avoided a big red day by dumping tons of Nvidia stock right before its worst wipeout day in history. Pelosi buys strategically, she buys heavy, and she buys hard. This Vistra buy is particularly interesting given America's major policy shift toward energy independence. So, what's the play here? Pelosi isn't just buying any energy company. She's going after a company positioned to win under the new administration's pro-energy policies. She may publicly say she doesn't support these policies, but she's betting with her dollars that these policies are going to make her tons of money. Vistra owns one of the largest nuclear energy portfolios in the U.S. With Trump's strong support for nuclear energy expansion, Pelosi's buy suggests she expects major government incentives to benefit companies like Vistra that already have established nuclear operations. If the U.S. government starts fast-tracking nuclear energy investment, Vistra will be the top beneficiary. Government subsidies and tax credits for nuclear energy expansion are on the table, and Vistra is one of the best-positioned companies to capitalize on this trend. Congress tends to be the one that decides who gets the contracts. Nuclear energy is indeed becoming a strategic priority as the U.S. looks to reduce reliance on foreign energy sources, and Vistra is set to benefit from this. In the past, Congress has pushed billions of dollars into energy infrastructure upgrades, and often, they give it to companies they're invested in or that have donated to them. Guess what? Vistra is a direct recipient of federal energy infrastructure grants. Vistra also has deep market penetration in Texas, California, Nancy Pelosi's home state, and other energy-consuming states, which sets it up to win big. Number 3. Congressman Rick Allen. Congressman Rick Allen from Georgia just disclosed buying a ton of ROL, Rollins Incorporated. On the surface, Rollins is kind of a boring company. It's a pest control company. But Rollins is arguably in a prime position to secure massive government contracts in 2025 and beyond. Here's where things get really interesting. Congressman Rick Allen is from Georgia, the same state where Rollins is headquartered. When a sitting congressman loads up on a local company, you've got to pay attention, especially when that company stands to benefit big from government funding. This Rollins buy could be a lot more than just a great business move. It could be about upcoming federal contracts that haven't been reported yet or are still in discussions. Why would Rollins get government contracts? Is that even a big business for them? The U.S. government spends billions annually on pest control and biosecurity measures across multiple agencies. Rollins is in a prime position to lock in major federal, state, and even city-level contracts. Federal and state agencies have a lot of properties, and they must maintain pest-free facilities. They spend a lot on it. Usually, they overspend. The government is the best customer to have because they don't care what you're charging. They just pay massive amounts of money because the taxpayers gave it to them. If they run out, they'll print or borrow more from China. And guess who decides who gets the contracts? Congress. And when Congress is invested in these stocks, it is even better. If Rollins wins even a fraction of these DoD and federal building maintenance contracts, we could be looking at hundreds of millions of dollars in new revenue. State and local governments are also big buyers. Now, why would Congressman Rick Allen know about these potential contracts? Congressman Rick Allen sits on multiple economic and small business committees. He has direct exposure to infrastructure and military funding initiatives. Most importantly, his district in Georgia is home to some of the government's largest pest control research facilities. In other words, if Rollins is on the verge of landing massive government contracts, Allen would likely have early insight, and he might even have some influence in making sure they get those contracts. The fact that he just made this a major buy in his portfolio says to me that, at the very least, it's worth watching. Number 2 on the list, Tahura, ticker symbol, HURA. Congresswoman Laura Lee is a big fan of this stock. She's reported frequent trades, and we've covered this before in her past trade reports last year. Her trades always tend to result in significant appreciations in the stock price. Tahura is a biotech company, but it's no ordinary one. It's working on cutting-edge treatments and AI-based drug discovery platforms, which put it squarely in the crosshairs of government-backed healthcare initiatives. As a congresswoman, Laura Lee has unique access to information about legislative priorities, upcoming federal funding, and regulatory decisions in the biotech space. The U.S. government has long been pouring billions of dollars into biotech innovation, and members of Congress frequently meet behind closed doors to discuss how that funding will be allocated. When some of those Congress members, who are deciding on allocation decisions, also buy stocks in companies that could benefit, it means these stocks could present a big opportunity. In the bigger picture, if Tahura is a candidate for federal funding, Lee may have early knowledge of these awards. Her repeated trades, in my opinion, might very well reflect her confidence that government money is coming their way or that they're on the fast track to some sort of FDA decision that will work in their favor. Number 1. Tempest AI, ticker symbol TM. Nancy Pelosi bought aggressive call options in Tempest AI, and we've been highlighting this one since she first disclosed it. Arguably, it's the stock that stands out the most on this list. Tempest AI is a leader in AI-driven precision medicine, revolutionizing how healthcare diagnoses and treatments are developed. So, what does full-time trader and part-time politician Pelosi know about Tempest AI that we don't? After digging into this company, I can say that Tempest AI isn't just any AI health company. It's directly involved in government-funded research, has deep ties to federal health agencies, and operates in a sector expected to receive billions of dollars in new funding under government initiatives. If you thought the story with Hera was crazy, this one is way more intertwined with the government. As we know, the longer someone spends in Congress, the more likely they are to earn outsized returns in the stock market. Pelosi's position as former Speaker of the House and a key Democratic insider for literally decades, since the Kennedy era, gives her potential access to closed-door meetings and classified insights that could influence this trade. One of the biggest opportunities for Tempest AI lies in federal health programs like Medicare and Veterans Affairs. AI-powered diagnostics and personalized medicine could save the government billions annually by improving care and reducing inefficiencies. If the government awards them these contracts, that could take Tempest AI to the next level. Tempest is already a leader in AI-driven diagnostics, making it a natural partner for these programs. Pelosi has deep connections to lawmakers and committees overseeing Medicare and the VA. If discussions are already underway about integrating AI into federal health programs, Pelosi would have early knowledge. Tempest isn't just about diagnostics. It's also entering the drug discovery market, using AI to identify genomic markers that accelerate new drug development. Tempest could be set to receive multi-million-dollar government contracts to assist in pandemic preparedness, cancer research, and rare disease treatments. The big picture here is that Tempest could have a lot coming down the road, and that might be why Pelosi bought call options, a very aggressive position that expires in January 2026. I think she did this because she believes this year will be a huge development opportunity for the company, and perhaps, when all the dust settles, Tempest ends up receiving a lot of government help and big contracts. But at the end of the day, who knows? Maybe she just bought it because she saw a cup and handle pattern or a head and shoulders pattern. Anyways, folks, that caps off the top 5 stocks that Congress is buying right now. Do you think Congress should be allowed to trade stocks? Let us know down below.